latest aircraft, which was about the size of a small car, said U.S. Brigadier General Patrick Ryder. Pentagon said, "We don't know who owns this object," said White House spokesman John Kirby, saying that it was unclear where it began its flight. So you see, right off bat, they're telling you we don't know where it came from, we don't know who it belongs to. President Joe Biden ordered the shoot-down, which was announced from the White House on February 4th. Another U.S. F-22 fighter brought down what the U.S. government called a Chinese surveillance balloon off the coast of South Carolina, following his week-long journey across the United States and portions of Canada. And get plenty of time to take pictures. China's government has said it was a civilian research vessel that happened to be flying over U.S. Military bases. Some lawmakers criticized the president for not shooting down the Chinese balloon sooner. The U.S. military had recommended waiting until it was over the ocean out of fear of injuries from falling debris. It doesn't seem to bother them about all the space debris falling down, though, does it? The Pentagon and the White House declined to give a detailed description of the latest object, saying only that it was far smaller than the Chinese balloon. Yeah, one thing's not like the other. U.S. officials declined to speculate about what the object might be, even after a day of observation, raising questions about what kind of object could be so difficult to identify by experienced U.S. pilots and intelligence officials. That's why they call them UFOs. The Pentagon said it was first detected on Thursday using ground radar. F-35 aircraft were sent to investigate. The UFO was flying at around 40,000 feet in a northeasterly direction, posing a risk to civilian air traffic. Yeah, no kidding. The object was shot down off the coast of northeastern Alaska over frozen U.S. territorial waters near the Canadian border. Officials said it would be far easier to retrieve pieces of the object in the ice than it was with the Chinese balloon, pieces of which sank in the ocean when it was shot down. Yeah, but for some reason we never have seen those pieces happen. Ryder said American pilots who flew alongside the latest object before it was down determined that no human was on board. He added it was incapable of maneuvering and did not resemble an airplane. We've heard some different reports on this about whether it can maneuver or not. Ryder and other officials did not say whether it could simply be a weather balloon or another type of balloon. It wasn't an aircraft per se, Ryder told news briefing. The F-22 shot down the object.
Hi, Christine.
That's quite
Is
a
that your name, right?
North American airspace had the authority to shoot down objects that pose military risk or recently American people. They wanted to shoot down the so-called drones that have been operating on our military bases south of Fort Today. In this particular case, it was estimated that this posed a reasonable threat to air traffic, Ryder said. The Federal Aviation Administration said it closed some airspace in Northern Alaska to support the Department of Defense activities. Look, this was a balloon. What the easiest thing have been to just show people pictures of it. Since the shoot down of the 200-foot tall Chinese high-altitude surveillance balloon, U.S. officials have been scouring the ocean to recover debris and the undercarriage of the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, we know that. Ryder told reporters a significant amount of the balloon had already been recovered or located, suggesting American officials may soon have more information about who Chinese espionage capabilities aboard the vessel. Funny how they found the balloon and showed all kinds of pictures of that. These UFOs that went down in Alaska, Canada, that we turn on, no pictures allowed. After Friday's object was shot down, some lawmakers praised Biden. That's great. Why did the Senate President act swiftly on this new intrusion to our airspace? Senator Mark Warner, chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, said. During an often contentious Senate hearing on Thursday, lawmakers criticized the Pentagon for not shooting down the Chinese balloon earlier, underscoring persistent concern from Congress about gaps in the U.S. ability to safeguard its airspace. Well, there you have it. So we have all these UFOs being sighted all over the place in Alaska. And the backdrop of that, the one that was shot down up there in Alaska, we still don't have pictures of. Still won't tell us about. So it's true. Now, I want to just finish up here with a couple of the sightings. This one here says it happened on September 2nd, 15-second duration. An observer, Scylla, Alaska, shaped like a color black, size smaller than a rectangular aircraft, bigger than a drone, neutral aircraft, about the same elevation but a little bit lower than here in the middle, it's almost off this star-shaped, it's like a book-shaped or something. And then it's full of, that's a true UFO brain beast. So just one more here from the last very quick. The possible flying saucer there is flying over the right where they're at. It says sightings 6:15.4, duration split second. Never refers to military location of Palmer, Alaska. Shaped disc, lower dark, estimated size not sure. Viewed from boat, direction from water northeast, angle of elevation 50, closest distance 1.5 mile. Estimated speed fast. I like your word. Basically, that Jim Lake Airport saw this object and then saw it in the picture. So just basically full bombers. I mean, that's amazing. This is these photographs and pictures of the object. It doesn't even close. Personal care and limited edition carrier stock is going to make him howl with joy. This is Dollar Shave Club. Is real. It took me a few minutes to find it. I'm using Facebook, but I don't actually have CNN on my video card. So it took me a second. I got my spots for Fox and OANN and MSNBC. Let me just say in advance before I play this clip. It's about me and potentially the Secret Service. You know the whole story. I've already addressed it. I've not spoken to President Trump about that. It's come up on podcast interviews. Of course, he's got 1,000 things on his plate. I'm just going to leave that there. However, you know, the president asks me to do something. He is not. I just want to be crystal clear on it. This is really important. Because everybody's talking about this like this is some kind of like, especially the way CNN's addressing. So I haven't heard anything like that. However, I want to say in advance, I'm not mad at all, and I'm not even remotely bitter about Van Jones and Tapper, you know, talking about me and kind of quietly taking a shot at me. You know, they barely mention the fact that I had a decade plus in the Secret Service, 5 years with the Presidential Protection Division, was with the NYPD, was a Republican nominee for Senate and House. Not that you gotta like kiss my ass, but it's always like the right-wing personalities. If the only thing I've ever done is politics, about it, whatever. I'm not
not mad about it. These guys are, opinion people, and they talk about the news and the stories in the news. So I'm fair game like anyone else. And in the scope of things, this really wasn't that bad. It was like a heavy duty podcast, but it is kind of funny. Cutesy time is over. It's gone national. Well, it's on CNN. But check this out. It's pretty funny.
And it's reporting that recognition criminality and former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino. By the way, like years ago, we would have him on to talk about Secret Service issues on the show. He is being considered for a Secret Service director. Here's the sum of what he said on his podcast today on how he views the new administration.
Cutesy time is over. We led the way. And a lot of people are recognizing that, folks. Cutesy time is over. I'll say again today, on Wednesday, people are policy, and it is time for us, because we are the news, to double down on the MAGA agenda.
Ben, you're going to have to stop being so adorable, because cutesy time is over. No, but seriously, in all sincerity, that does reflect an attitude of so many of these picks, which is it's time to really, really shake up Washington. And a lot of people think, a lot of Trump supporters think, that he went with establishment picks last time. That was a horrible idea. He wasn't able to really drain the swamp, and now that's what they're doing.
You have to believe a lot of things that are not true for this to make sense. What is the problem you're trying to solve with our intelligence services? We get a chance to walk around here and not have bombs blowing up all over the place because our intelligence services are doing a fantastic job keeping us safe. If you think that sending a wrecking ball through our...
More in a minute, but first, for those of us holding our breath for the past several months, we can exhale. Work can finally be done on the major issues this country is facing. One of the most significant, crushing nationalism. The fact is, nation's deep in the red. Like that's a house of cards that can't quickly be dismantled. So the strategy remains the same. Diversify your savings. That's why I buy gold from Birch Gold. So many things are out of our control, out of our president's control. It's important to have a safe haven for your savings. Birch Gold Group, my gold company, will help you convert an IRA and 401k to an IRA and physical gold. Best news, it doesn't cost you a penny in your pocket. So text Dan to 989898 to get your free info. Plus right now, through Black Friday, you'll receive a free 1-ounce silver eagle for every $5,000. Help protect your savings with Birch Gold. Text Dan to 989898 claim your eligibility for free silver today. Messaging data. Okay. Now I deserve the chance to respond, right? And I said, oh man, I'm not bitter. It's a news story. I'm fair game like anyone else. But so are you guys, right? Jake, Van, you guys are in the public space, so you're fair game too. I get the chance to respond. So what's the problem, Van, we're trying to solve? I should say we. I'm not in the administration. I have not been asked, but assume I was. Say I was the Secret Service director, sitting there with Ratcliffe and Tulsi and hopefully Kash Patel at FBI. The problem we're trying to solve, you completely, right over your head, missed. I love how he says, did you guys hear this, Mike? He goes, the intelligence community out there, all these other people, by the way, Secret Service is part of the intelligence community. They consume intelligence, they don't produce it. However, they do consume a lot of intelligence because they want to make sure they can get the threat right? We are not completely safe. There's a major war in the Middle East that broke out because our intelligence community missed a 9/11 style attack in Israel. There have been terror attacks where people have been on the FBI's radar and they missed it. Why? Because the FBI has been too busy. This is what the CNN bubble looks like. You may have missed these stories, Van. Did you miss the story about the FBI and the Moms for Liberty, the FBI and the pro-life movement? These are threats to the United States. Grandmas in the gulag for a trespassing charge on January 6th. This is the security threat that's going to keep us in. Go get grandma. Go get her. Did you miss all this? The FBI, I didn't even get to the serious stuff. Did you miss the FBI spying on Donald Trump? Van, I'll give you a little homework. Look up the name Azra Turk. Go look that up. You can read about it in the books I wrote about if you want. Go get it from the library. There, thank you. I didn't even ask him to do it. Just the news. Justice Department investigated the conservatives' Moms for Liberty in the same manner as the Ku Klux Klan. Again, did you guys miss all this? Why is Trump taking a wrecking ball to the status quo? Because the status quo is failed. There's a thing called opportunity cost, Van. You waste your time spying on presidential candidates and conservative groups and Tea Party groups with the IRS and other things. That's time not spent trying to intercept a major terror attack in the Middle East. That does involve us because we've been dragged into it. The same Death to America crowd was involved in that. The same people who told Biden, the intelligence community, oh, Putin's not going to invade Ukraine, they missed that one too. So forget me, pull me out of the story. But cutesy time is over, because that's what cutesy time gave you. It gave you a bunch of bullshit investigations. And that's why President Trump is reaching out to people who are actual door kickers. I just want to say again, we've not spoken about this. This story, like yesterday on CNN, a whole bunch of reporters are reaching out for me for comment. Why isn't he responding? Because there's nothing to respond about. What do you want me to respond and say? I don't know what you're talking about? By the way, I don't really speak to reporters anymore about that kind of stuff. Politics. I don't talk to reporters, especially left wing, conservative. Oh, you go, cutesy time is over. Could someone send a shirt to Jake? Store.bongino.com. Our proceeds go to charity, so don't worry. It's not like some money-making thing we're doing for us. Store.bongino.com. Somebody mail Jake and send Van a cutesy time is over, probably extra small. Send them over. Cutesy time is over. Maybe they'll pin one up in their office. We have all sizes in stock. Someone make a donation over to CNN. I saw that last night. And I'm not mad at these guys. I'm part of the news. I'm fair game. I don't have a thick skin, but I do realize that being in the business, when you're part of the news, you're part of the news. You don't want to be part of the news? Stop being a wuss and don't be a public figure, okay? End of story. Go do something else. And I like doing it. So it's part of the business. Dear liberals, we are always right. What is two thumbs and is always correct along with his little Bongino army, which isn't so little anymore. This guy, by the way, thank you for making us according to Triton's ranker in October. I can't believe it. The #3 podcast in the United States. Never saw that coming. Thank you guys. Love the Bongino army. You guys kick ass and take names. Absolutely adore you guys. We are always right. Why is our army not so little anymore and growing? Because it's fact-based, the show. We've told the libs. We warned them 1,000 times. Your fascination with identity politics and division is going to catch up with you. Why? You remember in the chat? Folks in the chat, you put it in, you got 125. Nice. Fully back up. Thank you, Chris, for fending off another massive attack. This guy's a so good. Boom! Boom! Done just like that. We told you a long time ago that the cannibalism theory was going to take over. The cannibalism theory in the left, for those who are new to the show, is this. Conservatives, the MAGA crowd, libertarians, and Tea Party people started giving liberals the double-barrel middle finger with cancel culture a long time ago. They just pound right through it. Don't say masks don't work. What do MAGA people do? They go to Twitter the next day and for all caps they put, now masks definitely don't work. We don't care. So eventually they've had to dial back because they know they're wasting their time. But there's power for them in canceling people, okay? So when they can't cancel conservatives and MAGA people, because we just don't listen, we flip them off, they were going to turn on themselves. And this is what's happening with identity politics with the left. If you happen to be black, right? You've been told by the media forever, right? The left, man, they're looking out for your interests against those horrible Republicans. You're now finding out that it's actually the Republicans that have been looking out for your interests against the horrible Democrats. Because if you're black and you say, hey, I'm a father who happens to be black, and the left told me, like, I'm a big interest group, they're looking out for me, but I don't want a man in the bathroom with my 12-year-old daughter, a man, an actual man. The left will then attack you. You get what they're doing? They can't attack us because we're just going to hammer ahead. We've never wanted men in the women's bathroom. But now they're eating each other alive. And I tell you, man, I am buying my ticket in the front row to see it. This is glorious. Please keep this up. Begging you, please keep this up. Here's a tweet from some communist, Tim Miller, is at the Bulwark, which is the common site. Is it wrong to suggest that Sarah McBride, she is the new trans member of Congress, should follow Mike Johnson in the men's room and stand right behind him at the urinal at the next opportunity? Tim, that's a great idea. You tell the trans member of Congress, Sarah McBride, who's a man, tell Sarah McBride to follow everyone. This is working out great for you. I'm dead serious, folks. I'm not kidding. You guys have given such great advice at the Bulwark. The Bulwark, which is like a commie scene, which has been wrong about everything. Every significant political trend of our time. The Bulwark, have they not, guys? Have been on the wrong side of every one of them. Please take Tim's advice and make Sarah McBride and the trans issue the focus of everything in your next term. Please do that. We're actually begging you to. Your fascination with division, cannibalism, and eating each other alive has done so well for you. You lost every single swing state despite having every single lever of power behind you. Mainstream media, academia, entertainment, even Taylor Swift, and you got your asses kicked because your issues suck. You definitely got to keep up on this. Tell me when I sent this over. How to put this on? I never put this on. This one's right there. You see this lunatic, Jasmine Crockett? She's a member of Congress. Obviously. This one, I'm not sure about the psychological stats. Here she is. She's a member of Congress, paid probably close to, if not more than $200,000 a year. She has lobbyists kissing her ass every day. She will never, ever be middle class for the rest of her life. Lobbyists will pay her. She'll be giving speeches, okay? She is living the lifestyle. She is a 1%, okay? Here she is complaining about being oppressed, and again, blaming the white man, which is by its very definition racist. She's categorizing a group of people according to their race without knowing any of them, and basically saying, look at you guys are. Here's Jasmine Crockett. Please keep this stuff up. This identity politics is such a winner for you guys on the left. I want to fund the PAC. Check this out.
This is words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man. You tell me which white man, which ragtag, you tell me which one got dragged all the way across the ocean and told that you are going to go and work. We are going to steal your life. We are going to rape your life. That is better than everything. All being stolen. So yeah, we are going to sit here and be offended. You want to sit here and act like fellow on this side of the aisle. That y'all are the ones being oppressed. That y'all are the ones that are being harmed.
Folks, please. Can someone, and folks in the chat, glad to see everything's back. Yeah, right, yeah, I guess you're right. Rock'em Sock'em Can someone in the chat get like Jasmine Crockett PAC and just like buy the URL.com? We need this woman in leadership on the left. We need to make sure that this woman is a potential presidential candidate in the future. Lefties, please keep this up. Jasmine, I suggest you and Tim Miller get together over coffee at a Starbucks, have a macchiato or whatever. It's kind of a left-wing place. You guys would be great together. Get together the agenda for the Democrats' midterm platform. Make it about following women and men into bathrooms when you're the opposite sex. It's a great idea. And keep telling white men and women across America busting their ass to stay ahead in this country with inflation, that they're somehow oppressing you while you're paying $200,000 a year to sit in Congress and have someone kiss your ass with it. Yes! Keep it up, Jasmine. We love it. The judges ruled. Folks in the chat, you think it's a great idea? Get this woman in leadership. Make her the whip. Make her the minority leader. I don't care. Crockett, Harris, 2028. He's looking into it now. They're gonna put a campaign sign together. I want this woman running for president. This is Democrat Party. Dan, stop telling them. Listen to me, brothers and sisters. Listen to your boy. I had a really good mood today. So much good stuff going on. So much. I am in an amazing mood today. Couldn't wait to do the show. Listen to your boy here, please. It doesn't freaking matter how many times we cover this stuff and make fun of them for doing it. They cannot control themselves. Do you understand that? I mean, to sound like an asshole. They can't stop because they don't know anything else. Jasmine Crockett doesn't know anything about anything. Either does Tim Miller, or else as predictions would have been correct. He's been on the wrong side of everything along with his entire team. They don't know anything. All they know is insult, division, politics, and identity politics. They can't stop.
The Dan Bongino Show.
If you'd like to hear more, subscribe to the Dan Bongino Show wherever you get your podcast.
This beautiful woman in the mangroves, and he wrote a book about it. And it's like, man, is this a fairy tale? Sounds like one. And to me, it sounds like very much, this is what he's experienced, put on audio, and I get my walk in as I'm listening to it. But I want you to do audiobooks, see, because then I could get your emphasis, because I am just hearing somebody read like this, right? There's no connotations or anything like that. So I'm like, did Z say that, or did Sam Jess say that? You know, but I really got it so far that it's this incredible love story. But before we get into that part of it, it's these aliens that come down. They're on Earth. Is it a small ship? Is it a large ship? Or what are they studying here? What is their main? Do they care about human behavior, or is it more about the land and the trade? What are they here for?
There's a lot in what you just asked that we'll get our couple looks at itself. But essentially, the people that were on board with my family, other than Sam Jess, were lab people in a sense. And there's no way to really define what their job is because it goes so far because of the way they were. Once they're born, there's a process that they go through when they're born and how they're raised, and they just gravitate. It's called natural law, which is what rules our universe, this universe anyway. And so they just grow into whatever it is that they like, and it becomes addictive. And because of that, they love distractions. And so I've got a lot of stories about the distractions.
Well, give me some goods, man. Give me some goods.
Their jobs just begin, right? With what they're interested in, and they just keep expanding, growing farther and farther because they'll find one thing and then it leads to another, which leads to another, which leads to another. Each of them have a base, what they start with. Some of them like insects, and some of them like types of animals, or like tears in the fabric of space, how our solar system is born, and things like that, which they shared with me. But I think you're most interested in gray balls.
Oh my goodness, I am so interested in the gray balls. I mean, what was the Chevy Chase? Was there a Chevy Chase thing on Saturday Night Live? I think it was kind of close to that. I'll just go as far as that. But so okay, you got to explain the gray balls to people because it's absolutely amazing. I'm a Culinary Institute of America graduate, right? You got all this education. This is very interesting. Why would I not be interested in the gray balls?
Exactly.
Right, there you go. My palate totally wants, my trained certified palate totally wants that.
Yeah.
See, I said it cleaner. But it's true, y'all. Okay. You tell it. I can't wait.
Well, I was on the ship one time and I was hungry, and so they take me to the wall. There's a lot of things on the wall and stuff, but they touch the wall and this little great ball come out, little tiny, like a marble size. And I go, what's this? They said, and they got different flavors and stuff. So like if you wanted like steaks, for instance, you would put that all in your mouth and you would taste exactly like steak, and you'd swear you would chew it steak. But anyway, there's
So it had the texture and everything of steak.
yeah, I don't know how, I know about, which I'll tell you about where they come from and stuff, but, that was my introduction to it. At first it was kind of cool. I could go there, and it gives you so much energy. I mean, you just start like bouncing off the walls. It's so nutritious and all. But, so, I was curious about that, and they decided to take me to one of their colonies, which is another huge story.
Is that on Earth or is it somewhere else?
No, it's in space.
Okay.
They keep asking me, why are we trying to land on planets when we could just build a colony that's orbit that can go back and forth all we wanted to? But anyways, that's another story. But anyway, so and you asked about the ship. Well, we were on a small ship, but since then we're on a huge ship. And there's so much information about that. But So, but to
You're killing us.
speak to
You're killing us.
the colony, that we had to travel, right? And I think people will be interested in how they travel through space. Like, for instance, if you go to the Pleiades, that's like 400 and some 80 light years, and well, they're 80 years light years beyond that. And so how they get there is, there's a lot to this too, but the Homer version of it would be, what they do is they find a place in space that they want to go to, right? And so they can figure out every frequency within seconds. They'll know every frequency that is there. And so what happens is their ship, there's what's called like a PI, they become that frequency. That's how they travel through space. And it's like a blink of an eye, and now they're in that part of the space. And I know I've traveled over 1,000 light years in just a blink of an eye in this process, and you don't feel it, you don't sense it, it's not just
I made it. Alright, I'll be back. Alright. Keep this going.
Destination for the official NFL sideline collection, worn by players and coaches on game day. Explore the same sideline and on-field gear worn by your favorite players and coaches at NFL Shop. To shop now, go to nflshop.com.
Experience sensational sound with Vizio's Soundbar Collection. Starting at just $99, there's a soundbar for every budget. With Dolby Atmos in every model, cinema quality sound is closer than ever. This collection features Vizio's simplest setup yet, so you'll be streaming your favorite iHeartRadio playlists in no time. Whether you're looking for a simple setup or the cutting-edge Elevate SE with 360-degree sound immersion and auto-rotating speakers, Vizio has you covered. Head to Best Buy or Amazon to find the perfect Vizio soundbar for you.
This is Jonathan Strickland from Tech Stuff with a tech gift suggestion for yourself. You like listening to podcasts, right? Well, you should elevate that experience and check out the Sonos Ace headphones. The sound quality is amazing, and the noise cancellation feature will block out external noises, which for me is incredibly helpful. If I need to focus on work, I put on my Sonos Ace headphones, I turn on noise cancellation, and I listen to this awesome synthwave channel while I work. Or if I'm walking my dog, I actually switch it to aware mode so I can stay alert to my surroundings and keep me and my doggo safe. And all the while, I get to enjoy the highest quality sound I could ask for. They're the perfect present for the audio lover in your life. Even if that's you, Sonos has great gifts for everyone on your list. Visit sonos.com/tech stuff to save 20% on select products. That's sonos.com/tech stuff.
For those of us holding our breath for the past several months, we can exhale. Work can finally be done on the major issues this country is facing, and one of the most significant being our national debt. The fact is, our nation is broke, and that debt is a house of cards that can't quickly be dismantled. So the strategy remains the same. Diversify your savings. So many things are out of control, it's important to have a safe haven for your savings. Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA and physical gold. And the best news, it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. Text COAST to 989898 and get your free info kit. Plus, right now through Black Friday, you'll receive a free 1-ounce silver eagle for every $5,000 purchased. Protect your savings with Birch Gold. Text the word COAST to 989898 and claim your eligibility for free silver today. COAST to 989898.
Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino with no download required. You can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
But
Are you able to do it on your own or only with them?
well, with them, with a ship, like I've flown one of the pods that people see.
Oh, okay. It's got to be with the ship.
Yeah, that's more individual. How that works, about the protection, what could be in the space that you're jumping to. I call it jumping, or you're fully protected. It's completely safe, but it's instantaneous. But we go to this colony. This it was massive. I mean, it took up all my vision, just the size of it. I think the one that we went to, and it was a smaller one actually, but it was big, right to me. And I think there's like 750,000 people living there or something like that. But anyways, long story short, we go to the place where they grow these plants, and I'm looking at them, and there's this like mini robot thing. Didn't look like a person or nothing, just looked like a square piece, but it would have extended arms and stuff. And there would be a guy, and he would be examining these fruits, and it kind of looked like a tomato, and they were small though. And when it's ripe, he would pick it, and the robot would take it. And so he would move through these. And while we're doing this process, they let me eat one of those fruits, and it was incredible. It had the texture of like a tomato, but it felt more like a peach, I guess, when you chewed it. And the thing was that Hans, one of the guys there, he's always playing jokes on me and stuff like that, and I return those jokes, but he's kind of like a surfer dude. He's an incredible guy. But he told me to put my hand in the soil, and when I put my hand in the soil, I got scared right away and pulled it out because it was moving. It was like moving around my fingers. And so like the soils that combine from other planets is alive. And so that's what helps grow the plant and give it its nutrition. So, but beyond that, and see, that's where the great balls come from. There's a process that they go through that to create that. But as far as like, we went to a place with this one alien I was with. I call them the tourist girls because they perform and stuff. But
they're so human-like.
Yeah. And so she had like a lot of leather on, and I asked her, so where does that come from? And she explained to me that they grow it, and so it's a non-conscious being. So she takes me to this restaurant, and which is unusual too. But each of these people, they have certain things that they really love to do, and that's what they do. And so instead of the great balls, he will create a dish for you if you know what it is that you want. And I wanted steak and lobster, so they took me back there and they were showing me how they grow it. And so it's like a lobster tail, right? They grow the lobster tail. There's no consciousness to it in that sense, but it's perfect and it's pure, and it gives you the energy. So that's just one thing of many that they do in relation to the food.
But does it always look like a gray ball?
No, that's what I was saying is they some people want to create that for you, just like a lot of them farm. Because they have to, but because they enjoy doing something like that to grow the food, the vegetables and things like that. But they don't have to. And then they take it to the center and people can come and take it for free. There's no monetary system whatsoever within their society. And that kind of brings up a point that I wanted to get out. So before I forget, when we see things and react to people, we wear a different face for each person. It's the only way we can survive here on Earth, right? And up there, how you're, like I say, naked, right? So love
vulnerable.
Is like,
you got to be totally vulnerable.
Yeah, and when we had these discussions, they explained to me what capabilities that we have, and it's pretty much unlimited. And the reason that we don't use them is that we think. We use the brain instead of the mind. And love is the key ingredient. We have all this extra space up in our head that's empty. And the things that we consider magic, like walking through walls or doing, whatever, levitation and things like this, are all completely possible within ourselves. But we have to fill all of these empty spaces in our head, which is the next part of our evolution, with love, memories of love, unconditional love. And what that does is that empowers the individual in order to access all these different abilities that we naturally have. And so I think that was a really important thing. And because when I'm with them, it's so incredible. It's just pure love. When I go on there, on the ship, I have to make my rounds if they're not there already to give each one of them a hug. And what happens in these hugs, which I was never a hugger, right? And anybody that knows me can verify that. But when we hug, you can't have an expectation of, I'm done or I'm not done. You have to give an eternity to that moment. And when you do that, what's happening is you're exchanging on the love that you've missed out on since the last time that you saw each other. And so love is a key ingredient to just everything that there is in the realms. And the only people that don't really go in that direction are like what I call the bug people, right? The aliens that people see that are,
yes,
bugs or whatever. And
yes, you know what? That's very true because like the Bigfoot, they have love and it. You feel it, right? And we have love. And I think it's the only thing that's real, right? I think you and I agree on that. But the freaking ETs, there is no love. They don't care. We are a little mouse to them. They don't care. They have no love. Not all of them, but I mean the bug ones like you're talking about.
Oh, well, I was curious about that. And so they offered to introduce me to one, and they explained to me they're like insects in a sense, because what they'll do is they can't really communicate well with the beings that I'm around. In the realm that's mostly like humanoid type people. I mean, they're obviously don't look like us, but they're humanoid, and they have ways of communicating, except for some of them are different than others, But the bug people, they are more of like an insect mind or a hive mind. And so when they go to a planet to harvest material that they need, they'll never damage, because of natural law, they'll never damage the planet or change anything about the planet as far as its future, right? But they'll harvest everything that they can take. And so they usually take more than what they need. And so what they do is they'll share it with the humanoid type aliens. And they abide by a human law or a natural law, just like, that's the only way you can succeed in the universe, right? Or at least in this universe. And So they gave me the opportunity to meet one of them one time, and it was like they told me there's nothing to fear, right? You don't have nothing at all, right? They will not hurt you, you know.
It's just
And
freaky.
so, yeah, and so I'm going, okay, you know, my family says it. By gosh, I'll jump in there and check it out. And so, you know, one of them offered to meet with me so that I could look at them and they could look at me and such. And so they put me in this room on my back, and above me was like this. The only way I can describe it is like a spider, right? Have you ever looked at a spider in a microscope, its face, and you know how horrifying it kind of looks? Well, man, I froze in fear. I mean, absolutely knowing that there is no harm that can come to me, and that this has no evil intention. Yet they were so scary looking. I didn't know what to do, and I don't get scared much. But that was my experience with the bug people.
Listen to more Coast to Coast AM every weeknight at 1 a.m. Eastern, and go to coasttocoastam.com for more.
Head over to NFLshop.com today for the largest collection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. NFL Shop is your ultimate destination for the official NFL Sideline collection, worn by players and coaches on game day. Explore the same sideline and on-field gear worn by your favorite players and coaches at NFL Shop. To shop now, go to NFLshop.com.
Experience sensational sound with Vizio's Soundbar Collection. Starting at just $99, there's a soundbar for every budget. With Dolby Atmos in every model, cinema quality sound is closer than ever. This collection features Vizio's simplest setup yet, so you'll be streaming your favorite iHeartRadio playlists in no time. Whether you're looking for a simple setup or the cutting-edge Elevate SE with 360-degree sound immersion and auto-rotating speakers, Vizio has you covered. Head to Best Buy or Amazon to find the perfect Vizio soundbar for you.
Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino with no download required. You can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, hi. This is Chelsea Handler from the Dear Chelsea podcast. This episode is brought to you by O-Pill, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. I love shedding light on what's important for women's healthcare, and one thing that makes healthcare easier is making birth control more convenient to access. Well, let me introduce O-Pill. O-Pill is a daily birth control pill that is FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen free. Plus, there's no prescription needed. Finally, the days of needing a prescription for birth control are over, a sentence I very much enjoy saying. This is our moment to take control of our health and reproductive journeys because O-Pill is birth control in your control. O-Pill is available online and at most major retailers. Use code OPILLOTC. OPILLOTC for 25% off your first month of O-Pill at opill.com.
Y'all, I've got a great tech gift idea for you. Whether it's for yourself or a loved one, consider the Sonos Ace headphones. Sonos sent me a pair to try out, and they're incredible, with the highest quality sound you could ask for. They're gorgeous, and through the Sonos app, I can connect to all my music streaming services. And the noise cancellation feature is my favorite. It's so effective. Sonos has great gifts for everyone on your list. Visit sonos.com/tech stuff to save 20% on select products. That's sonos.com/tech stuff.
With Lululemon, the real gift happens when they're living in it. When you give the fan favorite everywhere belt bag, the real gift is... And when the ultra soothing rest feel slides are the gift, you're really giving them... This holiday, Lululemon makes it easy to give little luxuries that go beyond. Open the moment. Shop now at Lululemon.com.
Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
You know, sometimes I think we should tape the pregame show. Well, it's not really a show, but me, Justin, Michael, Guy, Jim, everybody chatting, because some of the conversations are so interesting, they could be segments. Justin was asking me about the big story of the day, obviously the title of today's podcast, a huge shakeup on the transition with Attorney General nominee Matt Gaetz withdrawing. A whole bunch of speculation. Is Matt Gaetz going to take another position? Is he going to get seated in the next Congress? Remember, he resigned from the last one, not the 119th, right? Is he going to be appointed senator? Is he going to run for governor? What's going to happen with the seat? How's Pam Bondi? Did Trump plan this? Did he not? I promise you by the end of this, I'm going to sift it all out. That's why I got annoyed in the chat. For those of you who don't get into the pregame chat, sometimes I get in there early. There's one guy or woman that just had no idea what you're doing. You don't listen to the show. If you don't listen to the show in the chat and you're going to comment on me being wrong, then at least know what I said. Okay? That just annoyed me. Some of you in the chat saw that. We're going to talk about Gaetz. We're going to talk about Bondi. We're going to talk about the Rhino hacks that sabotaged Gaetz. A lot coming. Don't go anywhere. Big Friday show. Beam cyber sales here. Bongino listeners get up to 50% off at shopbeam.com/Bongino using code Bongino. Don't miss Beam's biggest sale of the year. Also, the Mike Rogers at the FBI conversation, we can put that to bed. That's not going to happen. We now know that. I'm going to tell you what happened there, too. Hey, I've been using Bone Charge's infrared sauna blanket, and Paula uses the red light face mask ever since they sent them to us. Really can't recommend them enough. You know, I don't advertise products I don't use. We don't need to. I only like good stuff. I use the sauna blanket because you got to go look at the research on sauna and what it does for your body. Go look up heat shock proteins with sauna. Just like magical chemicals in your body. You have them. Everybody has them. How do you get heat shock proteins? With the sauna. Use the sauna blanket from Bone Charge. You just wrap yourself up. Let the infrared heat work its magic. I've noticed an incredible difference. Folks, I've been through a lot. I got to tell you, at 50, I should be falling apart right now. Although my joints hurt, everything else feels great. The red light face mask, equally impressive. Paula loves it. It's amazing for your skin. That's why she looks so young. She's going to be 50 next year. She doesn't care that I tell you that because you don't even look anywhere close to it. Her skin is smoother, looks more vibrant. The overall tone is evened out. It's like having a mini spa treatment right at your home. Again, look this stuff up. If you're thinking of trying them out, you're in luck. Head on over to bonecharge.com/Bongino and use code Bongino at checkout to get 25% off. The red light face mask and the sauna blanket have made a real difference in my life. I'm obsessed with life hacks. Use code Bongino at Bone Charge. It's BONCHARGE.com/Bongino. Save 25%. Statements of products have not been evaluated by the FDA. They're not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. Thank you, Bone Charge. All right, fellas, let's get this party started. So yesterday, big news. I always like to give you the unnecessary background. I'm sitting upstairs in the cave. We have this dark room with blackouts and, old man chairs and everything. And I'm back there again, like practically snoring like I always am late at night. Because why? During the week, I am the most boring human being on planet Earth. Ever. There is no one more boring to me. Friday, maybe Saturday night, usually not both. It's on. Weekdays, I'm Lily White's party by 8 o'clock at night. Okay, I'm sitting up here. I see the Fox camera. You know that sound? Whatever comes up. And I'm like, oh, man, what happened? I go, Graggy. They're like, Donald Trump nominates Pam Bondi, who was the Attorney General of Florida for a long time. Let me just get this out, full disclosure in advance. I know Pam Bondi. I'm not going to say I know her well. Again, I don't exaggerate relationships to sound important. It doesn't matter, and it makes you sound like an asshole anyway. But I do know Pam well enough, especially in the professional space. He selected her. You can see his Donald Trump True Social post here. If you're not on True Social, by the way, you're missing out on all the news. I'm sorry. If you're not on Truth, there's no reason to not have an account. The activity there is just ridiculous. He announces Pam Bondi as his new nominee. I'll say a couple things. First, this is why I got so annoyed at that cat in the chat this morning. Like, Dan, you were wrong. I said, wrong about what? When I'm wrong, which will happen. I'm not, I don't have X-Men powers. I can, the predictions and speculations, sometimes you're going to be on the wrong side of things. Wrong about what? The Trump strategy was what? You guys remember what I said? Why we categorize this strategy? this is the strategy. What am I doing? You're listening on Apple or Spotify. We're playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Thank you, Josh, for that. My accountant actually sent me that. That was very nice of you. Thank you, Josh. We appreciate it. It's like a birthday present. He is punching everywhere all the time. Folks, nothing has changed about that. Look at this, Rock'em Sock'em Robot. You guys are the best. What would I do with you guys? What would I do without you to chat? You make my life so it's like a party every day at 11 a.m. So glad you're here. He is punching. Donald Trump doesn't do things because he's dumb. Now, a fair question. Justin asked me, do you think he knew that this would happen? Do you think he knew that? No, I don't think Donald Trump nominated Matt Gaetz. It's a good question under the assumption that he wouldn't get Matt Gaetz. I'm not going to sit there and tell, oh my gosh, it was 72-dimensional chess. No. But I do think he's practicing Rock'em Sock'em Robots with the full understanding in his head, because he's not stupid, that he is going to continue punching. But here's the thing with Rock'em Sock'em Robots. The other robot's punching too. He knows he's dealing with rhinos in the Senate. And ladies and gentlemen, he knew. Did you guys not hear me say this for the smartass in the chat this morning? Do you not remember me saying there are going to be some scalps taken? He's not going to get every single person. Folks, there may be another that goes down. I wish there weren't. I hope he gets his picks, but there may be another because he needs 51. He needs 50. JD will break the tie. JD Vance. He needs 50 senators. Folks, the numbers, did we break the chat again? Holy no, we didn't. He needs the numbers. If Mitch McConnell, and these others, and I'll get to them in a second, say, hey, listen, we're not voting for Gaetz, but we'll give you it. What is he going to do? He can't run in there and force Gaetz out of it. He will be. There's a recess appointment. Yeah, he could try that later. However, we need an attorney general right away. It's Rock'em Sock'em Robots, man. It may not be the only one to go down. However, the replacement, folks, everybody going to have issues, by the way. I saw a couple articles this morning. I know Pam Bondi. I support the selection of Bondi. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm not a hypocrite, and I'm not using, I forget the personal relationships. That means nothing to me. I always measure the effectiveness of a pick. How? Folks in the chat, lay it on me, kids. Lay it on me, Bongino Army. By the response of our political enemies. So if I hear on MSNBC that Pam Bondi is even, what? Is even worse than Matt Gaetz? What does that mean? Full steam ahead, kids. No, they didn't say that. Really? Play the cut.
She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz, even with the deplorable moral background that he has.
Well, you think I'm going to tell you something and then automatically flip on a dime, 5 minutes later? Sorry, drinking some coffee. All right, much better. Always measure the effectiveness of a pick by the reaction of your political opponents. If Jason Johnson from MSNBC, one of the most liberal lunatics you're ever going to see on that network, I debated this guy on a Spygate panel at Politicon. I think it was him. What a nut, and really stupid too. If he's telling you Bondi's going to be worse, that says to me she's the pick. Folks, are there going to be things in the past there? Yeah. I've already seen a few articles. Everybody's got. I've said to you before, we all have it. I have it. You're never going to get the perfect pick anywhere. I'm telling you, the Trump team knows what they're doing. So I just want to sum this up. No, I don't think they went in there with some 7-dimensional chess thinking we're going to do this and that, and then we know No, I don't think. I really thought they could get him through. Unfortunately, we've got rhinos in there who just don't want to change their mind ever. How do I know this is what happened? Because look at Gaetz' tweet, folks. This is what I get paid to do, to diagnose for you what happened. I mean, if you're not here for bullshit. How am I going to waste your time every day for? 200,000 people a day join him. I'm not going to waste your time. Here's a tweet from Matt Gaetz right before he drops out. I had excellent meetings with senators yesterday. I appreciate their thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many. He says then that it was unfair. He was being targeted and it was becoming a distraction. But read the first line again. I had excellent meetings with senators yesterday. Folks, this is not the Stygian witches, okay? Give me the eye. It's fairly obvious what happened. They tried to push him through. We've got a bunch of rhinos who are still playing cutesy time. And ladies and gentlemen, what's up with cutesy time? It's over. Unfortunately, there are a lot of rhinos in the Senate who don't understand cutesy time is over. And they basically told him no. That's it. That's as far as it goes. Now, these cutesy time zeros in the Senate who are never going to understand what's going on or the fight, they don't at all, are probably saying to President Trump in this disgusting, filthy business of politics, you've got 3 more nominees who may have some trouble. We'll give you them, but you got to get rid of him. Rock'em sock'em Roblox, man. Send the next one. That's it. Cernovich nailed it here. Susan Collins and Murkowski, who were hard-nosed on Gates from Maine and Alaska, respectively, you know they voted to approve Alejandro Mayorkas? And then McConnell, who was supposedly another hard no on Gates, voted to approve Garland, as did Collins and Murkowski. Folks, these people are absolute frauds. You need to understand. Like, these folks will, this is what they do. They will cut a deal to get a communist in there like Mayorkas, and then you put the door kicker in there like Gates, and like, oh, that's a bridge too far. Can't have this stuff, folks. We can't have it. Listen, this is disappointing. I told you they're already trying the Flynn strat. But if you keep going, rock'em sock'em robot style, and just moving forward, you just keep pushing through nominees. I'm just warning you in advance. We may lose one more. We may. But if we get 80, 90%, sometimes that's the best you can do. When you're not practicing rock'em sock'em robots and you're putting together establishment picks, then what happens? How many do you get? Folks in the chat, help me. You get 100% because the establishment loves them. Rock'em sock'em robots comes with a little bit of a downside. Flood the zone. Continue to flood the zone. They're not backing down. They're not doing any of it. The Trump team has no quitting them. It just was a numbers game. That's it. It pisses me off, should piss you off too. I get it. I am with you 100%. Some people, should we accept this? He's moved on. There's nothing to accept. It is what it is. I practice realpolitik and I live in the real world. Folks, I just don't want you to just accept the narrative at hand, because here's what's going on right now. This is really important. Please stop what you're doing unless you're holding a child, a sharp object, or operating heavy equipment or driving. I'm already seeing it in Politico and Axios. Politico, Playbook, and Axios, their morning email, are like biblical-like things from the left. It's where they get their talking. They want to drain Trump's political bank account right now, and I'm not talking about money. The left is afraid that the popular mandate Donald Trump had is going to give him
to move the country back in the direction of freedom and liberty. Does that make sense? I can't go forward if you don't understand what I'm saying. They're afraid they have no story now. They can't say he didn't win the popular vote. They can't say it wasn't a mandate. So now they're just going to make it up. And I've already seen this morning, they're like, oh, Trump's momentum's gone. Matt Gaetz is out. Trump is finished. We cannot let them create a story from the story. It is up to us to pound the table. You have the facts. We have the facts. Pound the facts. When you have the facts and can pound the table too, then pound the freaking table too. I need you guys to get loud on Twitter and everywhere else because people listen. Here's their new narrative. Put up that Politico thing. Calling Trump's win resounding isn't just wrong. It's risky. No, Trump's win was resounding. We won the popular vote. We swept every single swing state. We took 4 Senate seats back. Even after redistricting, we still kept the House. We won state houses back. It was a resounding victory. You see how? Did we not tell you? Did we not tell you? Did we not say last week, Michael, do you remember the show? What did we say? They're going to start putting out the narrative. oh my gosh, this Trump victory really wasn't that impressive. The Nelson Muntz style. New York Times. Look, you find it weird, folks? All at the same time, the narrative comes out. Gates went down. Trump has no power. Trump's victory was nothing. Trump wasn't have a landslide. Look, the landslide that wasn't. Trump and allies pump up his narrow victory. It was not narrow. We kicked your ass in every single swing state. The ass was kicked. Here the ass. The ass was kicked. I'm sorry your ass got kicked. I'm sorry. That's your problem. That's your problem. We did the political ass kicking. You guys didn't want to listen. We told you defund the police and men in the women's room was a stupid freaking idea. We told you to close the border.
And let me reiterate that if anything I've said about this technique seems unclear to you, go to joshuapwarren.com, go to the Curiosity Shop. There is a link there below the chronovisor pic that says click here for the time camera experiment. And when you do that, it's going to take you to a video that says time camera, radionics, psionics, wishing machine. If there is any problem, if you go there and that link is not working, well, then keep trying. I will make sure that it is fixed. I have a reason for telling you that because, you know, there are some wacky things that are happening in the world of technology these days. And when it comes to this, though, I mean, one of the things that I really think is fascinating is this sort of almost impossible task of trying to understand if this technique works in any way whatsoever, how much of it is the radionics box acting as a piece of technology that is capable of developing a piece of film using something other than the photons of light versus it acting as a transmitter for some psychic imagery that you have, that again, it's your brain that's doing the work here, and you're just using the machine as a tool to get an image of the work. So that if I were to see the Wright brothers, it would be because I was psychically seeing them all those years ago, and then just using this technique to develop the image. And it reminded me that my birthday was October 25th, and on my birthday, I read this very interesting news story that was published at WLOS.com, which is the news station there in Asheville, North Carolina, where I was born. And it says, oh, come on. All right, psychic medium finds human remains while searching for missing teen. Stuff like this kind of gives you renewed faith in the idea that there is something very tangible to psychic phenomena. The story actually originates from Jay, Maine. That's a place in Maine, apparently. It says it's like something from a movie. A psychic medium stumbles upon human remains, but this was real. And it happened while the woman was looking for a long-time missing teenager in Maine. Teenager was named Kimberly Moreau. It says here, for the police, this scenario is just unheard of. That's what they're claiming here. Sergeant said it was great to happen, but not something we rely on. Kimberly Moreau, this teen, went missing in May of 1986, and they followed countless tips ever since, trying to figure out trying to figure out what happened here. And then there's a psychic medium named Laurencia Bourgeau. I guess I'm pronouncing that right. And Laurencia Bourgeau says, this is the first case I worked on. Bourgeau says she has been an intuitive her entire life, but she's been working, sort of training to become a psychic medium. She said, I built up my skill set in order to tune into a location or into the person or into a perpetrator. See, this would be interesting to take somebody like that and put her in front of one of these wishing machines in a dark room with some kind of a wire from her head to the input plate connected to that undeveloped piece of film.
She says she's been able to narrow in on search spots on a map, and she likes to use a pendulum and yes or no questions. I've talked about that technique on the show before. She says she gets visions sometimes to draw people or locations. She said she heard a voice tell her to go to a bowling alley in connection with the Moreau case, and she knew it was significant. She heard it a second time. She says, it's very obvious when I heard it the second time. And so she went over there and she started looking around, and it looks like the teenager's dad may have even been there trying to work with her. And it says, sure enough, we felt strongly, and when we went there, we found a body. Jo said she spotted boots and a jacket coming out of the ground. It says, quote, I saw what looked like a stick sticking out of the ground, so I went and grabbed it and pulled it out, and it was a bow, end quote. A very emotional, long day. And so the funny thing is, they say this is exciting that they've discovered a body, but now they're still trying to figure out whose remains were found. They don't think it was the remains of the girl necessarily, but how do you like that for some validity to psychic phenomena? The clock has got us. Take a deep breath if you can. Close your eyes. Let's enjoy the good fortune tone. That's it for this edition of the show. Follow me at Joshua P. Warren. Plus, visit joshuapwarren.com to sign up for my free e-newsletter to receive a free instant gift, and check out the tools on the Curiosity Shop, all at joshuapwarren.com. I have a fun one lined up for you next time, I promise. So please tell all your friends to subscribe to this show and to always remember the golden rule. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your interest and support. Thank you for staying curious. And I will talk to you again soon. You've been listening to Strange Things on the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network.
Well, if you like this episode of Strange Things, wait till you hear the next one. Thank you for listening to the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids instantly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. To earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy, knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Sign up for Greenlight today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Celebrate Thanksgiving with unbeatable savings at Macy's. Right now, get your frozen turkey for only 69 cents per pound when you spend $50 or more. Stock up on all your holiday essentials, from fresh produce and pantry staples to your favorite sides and desserts. Whether you're hosting a big family gathering or an intimate feast, Macy's has everything you need to make Thanksgiving memorable. Stop by today and enjoy incredible savings on the perfect holiday meal. Only at Macy's. Macy's, happy shopping.
What kind of car you drive? Two things are always true. All tires eventually need replacing, and all vehicles need servicing. Luckily for you, Bingo Tires is an expert in both. They can help you make brand tires with our convenient smooth services on things like alignment, stocks, brakes, and more. Look for Bingo Tires.
it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. There you are, once a week. It's normally Friday, midday. We get a little pop-up that says new episode of Shades of the Afterlife. Well, here's a secret. While it's new to you, I record them usually 2 weeks prior to you listening to them. Now, this is just to give the studio enough time to do all the things they need to do behind the scenes so that they can be on all those podcast platforms. Why this is important? Well, it was a big week for me, but you're hearing it 2 weeks later, so it might not have the thrill for you that it does for me. First of all, some great things happened. It was 9 years ago this week that I became friends with medium Scott Milligan. I took a risk. I really did. I was fascinated about learning good evidence of the afterlife, and I heard about this wild thing called physical mediumship. You sit in the dark room with a group of people holding hands and stuff happens. Loved ones can rematerialize and voices of these loved ones can be heard again. You can have conversations. Phenomena happens. Things can move around. Sounds too good to be true, right? And me on my expedition 9 years ago, I so wanted to believe, but the only way I could is if I experienced something myself. So my friends, Tom and Lisa Butler, who wrote the book, There Is No Death and There Are No Dead, they're the people that run the ATRANS-C, it's called, the Association of Trans Communication, all about EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, and instrumental communication, the way loved ones can come through using technology. They very strongly believed in the reality of this physical mediumship. I did some research, I saw some videos on YouTube. One thing led to another, and I found that there was this medium named Scott Milligan who did this form of mediumship. I'm a Facebook user, and I looked him up on Facebook, and I sent him a friend request. He didn't know me, and he didn't have to accept, but he did accept. And when I looked at his Facebook wall, he was advertising something called Voices of the Past, and it was a 5-day retreat in England. I took a risk, and I booked it. So I made a trip 3,000 miles from home, flew from Boston to London Heathrow, then took a cab ride another hour and a half to a retreat center, not knowing a single person, in hopes that I could find some credible evidence of the afterlife, which I did. And you've heard Scott Milligan several times on this show, speaking in the trance state. Why this is important is because Scott got a notification. You've been friends with Sandra Champlain for 9 years. So it brought me back to that feeling of wanting something to be true, but doubting it, and then taking a risk. And without risk, as my dad would say, there would be no reward. And so through Scott, the folks at Banyan Retreat, I've met some of my best friends in life, including people in the spirit world, and my life reward. Later in the show, we're going to hear some words from Mr. Eric that pertain to something else that happened this week. Well, there was a presidential election here in the United States. I promise you, I won't get into politics ever, but some of the words he spoke on our trance demonstration yesterday directly spoke to the election and the result of how people feel. So I asked Mr. Eric a question about fear, whether it be people's fear of what's going to happen in their life, in their countries, with their health, but really on that topic of fear. And then also I asked him to talk about life in the spirit world. So you have that to look forward to on this episode. What else happened? Well, I got myself a new car. It is new to me. It is used. But a little shout out to my dentist, Joseph Curtis, because there I was getting my teeth cleaned and expressing to him that I donated my car didn't know what to get, and he said, how about a Volvo? And I thought, Dr. Curtis, those are way too expensive for me. He says, Sandra, you get one pre-owned that's several years old from a reputable dealership, and they're like brand new, and they will last you 250,000 miles. So just a couple of days ago, I am the recipient with my mom of a beautiful silver Volvo. So you know, we're driving something nice and safe. So that's excited me, very happy. And yesterday, I just had an extraordinary conversation with my mom. My mom is my nearest and dearest, closest friend, love of my life. She's a beautiful woman in her 80s, and I tell you, we can talk about anything. Mom is skeptical as far as the afterlife, but she always listens. I know I'm not alone, that we have people in our life that are happy for us, but maybe they just can't buy fully along with what it is we're talking about. Like I said, Mom supports me. She doesn't shut me down when I have an extraordinary interview or produce an episode of the afterlife. She loves to hear. And there's some times where we just kind of sit in awe. We have a synchronicity or psychic or ESP, whatever you wish to call it. And between Mom and myself, we've had quite a few of them. So she's definitely open that there's more to life than meets the eye and more to us than we know. So I love my mom. Yesterday, we watched a medium on YouTube, and it really seemed like the medium was fishing for information from the sitter about their deceased loved ones. In her belief, can't count on mediums as good proof of the afterlife. And I completely get that. If someone has the title medium, it doesn't mean they're good. And in all truth, there are plenty of mediums in this world that are not good, and some, shall I say, even con artists. So we got into the question about how do you know a medium is real and a medium is good. You always want someone that is reasonably priced to you. And to me, right now in 2024, that's somewhere between $75 and $100 for a half-hour reading. Or if you go longer than that, then double it if it's a 1 hour reading. You always want someone that offers a money-back guarantee. In the first 10 minutes, if you're not happy with your reading, the reading comes to an end and you get your money back. That's integrity. Also, when you're with them, you only supply yes, no, or I don't know to the information they give you. You can be polite about it, but let them do the work. You should feel the presence of your loved one. Yes, they can give you facts about the person's life, but also shared memories that you know in your heart that there's no way they could find out this information. They can't find it on Facebook or social media. And so we got into this conversation about mediums. And then we explored more about life after death. Mom enjoys watching The Golden Bachelorette, which is on TV right now. But we talked about signs from our loved ones. And two of the gentlemen on the show were talking about their deceased wives. And one of them said that his wife loved hummingbirds. In fact, she'd sit outside in the garden and she'd put her hand out, and a hummingbird would land on her hand. And anyone who's been around hummingbirds knows that this doesn't really ever happen. So this woman had some special knack as the hummingbird whisperer. But as he was talking about it, the love from his wife, all of a sudden, what flew above him and landed on a branch was a little hummingbird. And that was his sign that it was okay for him to be on the dating journey. And that made me think about an episode that I did for you folks, talking to a woman whose son has passed, and her sign was bluebirds. Now, where I live, certainly there are bluebirds, but in the 4 years that I have had bird feeders out, never once have I seen a bluebird. It was the day after I did the interview with this woman, and I must have had over a dozen bluebirds in my bird feeders. Not just any bird feeder, but the one that was closest to the window. And that was pretty cool. Was it a coincidence? Was it a thank you for the son for interviewing his mom? I don't know. But it was a little sign to me, just saying thank you. Also, speaking of signs, I don't know what signs you get. For me, after my grandmother died, I would see the numbers 33, 333, 3333. It was all about threes. And on the deepest, darkest moments since she's passed, in those moments of fear or worry, something pops up with those threes on it. And so while Mom and I were having coffee, talking about these signs, she reminded me of all the threes that have come into our life. And so while Mom might call herself a skeptic and not sure she's a believer, each one of us wants to believe that our loved ones are still with us, that we go on. At the very beginning, when I was starting to study life after death, I was staying with my mom. She didn't have much food in the house. And I decided to create potato pancakes. Now, I didn't have a recipe. I just went with gut instinct. She was amazed because I made her mom's recipe of potato pancakes. She said it is identical to the recipe her mother had. These little signs give us hope that our loved ones live on. Once we have experiences that we know for ourselves of the reality of the afterlife, no one can take them away from us. For me, between Shades of the Afterlife and my first podcast, We Don't Die Radio, that you can still find on YouTube, I have over 680 different episodes of Life After Death. With others or sharing of my experiences. No one, and I mean no one, can tell me that the afterlife isn't real and that we don't go on. So if you have people in your life that may not believe you, don't push this on them. Every human being in their own time will start asking questions and want to know more. Let them find it in their own time. But you can also share. Just ask their permission if it's okay to share something you heard on Shades of the Afterlife, for example. So with that, let's go take a break. And when we come back, we'll hear some words about fear, life in the afterlife, and more. You're listening to Shades of the Afterlife on the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network. There's joy to be had in finding the perfect gifts for the ones you love. And Saks.com's holiday gift guide can make it easy. Whether it's surprising your hard-to-shop-for sister with a Chloe bracelet bag, or gifting your partner a memorable scent from Gucci that matches their personality, Saks.com's hand-picked guide can help take the stress out of the holidays, like adding instant cheer in your home with bright decor, or giving yourself some comfort by bundling up in a scarf coat from Totale. Home gifts guaranteed to bring joy to everyone this season. Saks.com.
As it gets colder, your home's exposure to losses can increase. Help protect your family and home with reliable, affordable homeowners insurance. Western Mutual Insurance Company is A-rated by AM Best and has been protecting homeowners for over 80 years. Save money on your annual premium with an average savings of $300. Visit us at westernmutual.com for a no-hassle quote and see how much you can save. That's westernmutual.com. Western Mutual Insurance Company. Direct, reliable, with you since 1942.
Celebrate Thanksgiving with unbeatable savings at Macy's. Right now, get your frozen turkey for only 69 cents per pound when you spend $50 or more. Stock up on all your holiday essentials, from fresh produce and pantry staples to your favorite sides and desserts. Whether you're hosting a big family gathering or an intimate feast, Macy's has everything you need to make Thanksgiving memorable. Stop by today and enjoy incredible savings on the perfect holiday meal. Only at Macy's. Macy's.
is from yesterday's In the Arms of Eternity. You can make a donation and join us. We come for free, and you can ask questions to the spirit world. The first part I'm going to play is Scott, so you can hear what he sounds like. I haven't edited it. You can hear the hesitations, the ums, the repetitive words, just so you get a feeling for what Scott sounds like. What happens next, which we won't hear, is he leads us into a sitting for healing, sort of like a guided meditation. Then Scott goes quiet, and then we hear from Mr. Eric. He doesn't take him over in any exorcist type of way. It's just a gentle blending of energies. And we all have spirit guides and helpers that work with us. So let me play for you a couple minutes of just Scott talking so you know exactly what he sounds like versus when Mr. Eric begins to speak through him.
I hope everyone is well, and thank you so much, Sandra, for just being you. I think you're very good at praising everyone, but we need to turn and face you, and thank you for facilitating everything that takes place, not only today, but the majority of my sharing online, because I am actually technically I'm dyslexic, I actually technically have autism. I'm technically known to have a form of problems within my life. However, I don't let that define who I am. When God gives us something, we just make what we have and make it better, and make sure we squeeze every ounce of happiness out of this condition and the experience that we have. On that note, I'm going to look very weird in a minute because I'm going to wrap myself up in a blankie. Sandra knows that today I threw my back out, so at the moment I've got all this kind of heat stuff on my back, and I'm just trying to keep it as warm as possible. So I know I'm talking about myself, and I do apologise, but this is a day for you, and hopefully when you and I and all come together, we're able to sweep that path and dust those steps to a form of peace, a form of healing, and a form of acceptance in some ways, accepting that there is a life after living, accepting that the only thing that truly dies is the illness, and everyone who you have loved and cared for will be living beyond everything that we seem to see today, and we will become a part of that world. So how are you today is a funny question to ask and not know the answer, but I want you to really feel at this moment this is a gift to you, not necessarily through me, but through that great power that has proven to many people through many years that there is life after living, and we've got to get into an idea where we've got to stop limiting a limitless power and who you're born to be, and use this time, and I know I'm waffling because I've just moved, I've just become aware of my body. I want you just to realise that within you there is a capability to allow you to listen to a spirit who is standing next to you, not next to me, and that spirit is someone that you love, and they live close, and they are very much around each and every one of you. I think I need to stop talking now and just get on with it, because I just feel myself going funny. So every one of you, so a warm welcome to a Friday. I hope that you sit comfortably and just allow whatever words are to follow, be it through the mind of myself or the mind of eternity. It is all saturated in love.
Okay, so you just heard Scott. That's him. I've known him for 9 years. That's what he always sounds like. He then leads us into a sitting for healing, where we send healing to those in need. The spirit world can use our energy and send it where it is needed. He gets us into a nice, relaxed state, a little visual imagery, and after about 20 minutes or so, he stops talking, and then he himself blends with the spirit world. So imagine you're listening to nice, gentle music for about 10-15 minutes, and next comes the voice of Mr. Eric through the mouth of Scott. And remember, too, this is just days after our American presidential election.
Sometimes in life, situations may present themselves that causes a reaction. This reaction can set in motion the means of healing, but sometimes it can set a reaction that causes division. Some must accept that when grievance occurs, they may walk a different path, muttering under their breath the very thing they feel is right. You must allow everyone to have their own thoughts, but how one reacts to this is how one can see how far one has become aware. If your reaction is to close much thought, or indeed to close your hands of friendship and clench them in fist, this is a reaction of a negative response. Was it not once said, if one is to hurt, then turn for the other cheek? But you must accept, my friends, there are times when you become spiritual warriors. You can fight negativity in the most spiritual of manner. Some may give up their life, and others feel they have become victorious. But what they do not realize is that they may claim victory in this life, but need to do much work when they come to our side. Our worlds are not too dissimilar. When you were first born to this world, you were sheltered by love. You were given things that will only bring you smiles, helping you to accept the road of life. With the time that you will spend under your sun, you learn your environment. You work with what you are given. And then there will come a time, my friends, when you will see those who have guided you as equal. And then roles of responsibility, but also reminding of conversation. For now, you will react differently. Some will not react like a petulant child, but will then have deep thought of to reflect why they acted in such a manner, and you will grow from it. When you come to our side of life, the newly arrived is met, of course, with love. You are given things that will bring pleasing to you, aiding you to forget certain imperfections, and for you to accept the former world is no more. For you to focus on the horizon until one reaches a level of acceptance. Then those who have spoken, observed, and aided you through the quest of life may represent to you situations where you can now react differently, learning to either tie the threads or to cut them from you. so that you move forward in your own spiritual way. For anyone who comes to commune with you through other individuals will have had to reach a level where we must face our lives. Mistakes, if one would accept them. To realize that the life we have lived was the shortest part of its journey. And did we spend time wisely whilst it gripped us? For your world operates on time. Our world exists through the levels of acceptance.
I'm going to interrupt Mr. Eric now. We're going to take a break, and then I'll have him continue exactly where we left off. And by the way, I have spent over 200 hours talking to Mr. Eric, so he is indeed a different person than Scott Milligan. So let's come right back, and I'll even ask him about fear. You're listening to Shades of the Afterlife on the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network.
There's joy to be had in finding the perfect gifts for the ones you love, and Saks.com's holiday gift guide can make it easy. Whether it's surprising your hard-to-shop-for sister with a Chloe bracelet bag, or gifting your partner a memorable scent from Gucci that matches their personality, Saks.com's hand-picked guide can help take the stress out of all of us, providing home-stitched ear home with